Hello and welcome. It is, of course, Sunday, which means it is time for, well, Solo Sunday, in which we actually run Galactic Requiem. Here we are. So, I suppose we should get to it then. Everything should be prepared. Here we are. Okay. So, I suppose we should catch up because, this is sort of the first, but not really the first. So, we'll start with a bit of filling in what happened before. Last time, on Galactic Requiem, our protagonist, Juliana Aldis, signed on with a bunch of, signed on with a local government in the Terran nations to help fight in a bit of a conflict between them and their other nation on the world. Because she has enemies from a different nation in a different star system that are supporting the nation here that she's up against. Recently, one of their ships was shot down and crashed in an enemy-controlled city in a sort of rundown, sort of arcology megacity section. Her goal is to go in there and retrieve, well, any data and survivors from the crash site. Unfortunately, her and a few mercenaries who are going in to complete this task for one of the governments have a few problems that they face. One being the response from the local government of the area that is against them. However, they are going in as mercenaries, so they have a bit of cover there. Two, the fact that it's in sort of gang-controlled territory, which is slightly problematic for them, and the fact that if they're not fast, a local response force will likely arrive to get the data and make sure it doesn't fall into hostile hands. So, that is the overview of the situation. Of course, there's more to it, but we'd have to go over quite a bit to cover that. And so we'll just not really go over that right now. So, I suppose we'll get to it. This is, of course, a tabletop RPG. The way this will work is anything related to charts, specifically. And by that, I mean anything in that I have to pull through documents to roll will be rolled with physical dice. Specifically, say I have to open 5 documents, or usually multiple, but I have to mess with multiple things to actually get the roller on screen here to roll. So anything related to unrelated out-of-character charts. For instance, say I'm generating a plot device using the bot. I will roll that with physical dice. However, everything rolled as an action of the character, or an action of the enemies, or an action of the world that's not reliant on having to have another chart open, will of course be rolled with the roller you see on screen. You'll understand what that means shortly, but specifically, in simple terms, often when using the bot chart, there will be reference to several charts that I need to roll, or several things in one chart, in which case it gets real difficult to swap between the roller on screen and that chart. So those will be rolled with the dice, and everything, for fairness sake, with character and all that, will be rolled here on screen. Galactic Requiem is a rather lethal system, and so we might see Juliana Aldis get killed terribly. She nearly died in her last mission. It was done, of course, on what we used to do. It might eventually get uploaded on a Vaude here. But last time she got rather injured and was luckily able to get away with money, but got severely injured. So we'll see what happens this time. I have, luckily, opened up several charts for actual display. I mean, not display, but I won't have to wait for the document to lag out. Because it's not like you could have seen the other documents anyway, because I don't, unfortunately, have it set up for that. So we have this document, our usual, which we will, of course, use and view as needed. But the other documents I always have to open to find rules and files and so forth. I have downloaded as offline versions, so we shouldn't have as much difficulty with the loading of them. Of course, I need to actually add an index section into the documents, so searching through the documents, unfortunately, will be long because I forgot to add an index section before I downloaded them. So there's that, but here we are. Okay, just getting that set up. Of course, we won't have that on screen, so we can actually see the screen for now. And I suppose, without further ado, we shall take it slowly and get to it. We are not in a rush here, after all. One final test to make sure everything is working, and it is. So, I suppose we should do a bit more direct explanation of what happened instead of the whole background. Juliana Aldis and her team are in the outer suburbs, outside of the city proper. They, let's see, here we are. The team, that would be here. We have four mercenaries. Three mercenaries that aren't Juliana Aldis and Juliana Aldis. They are equipped and prepared and are going to head into the city to, well, retrieve the target. They currently have just finished up in the outskirts in a sort of suburban, sort of mansion-like area in which they've met their contact and are heading in from after they've met up there. They have one normal car and a hover bike. Specifically, the normal car is provided by the group. The hover bike is Juliana Aldis's. Hopefully it doesn't get destroyed. She spent a lot of money from her previous mission acquiring it. I believe 100 to 200,000 Galactic Standard credits or something. I think. I'd have to go back. I forget whether we got used or what the full price was. I remember that the base price of the bike, like new, is 100 to 200,000 Galactic Standard credits. And so probably we got it like used and or something. So it was a bit less. It was like 20 to 30% off due to being used or something, I think. And we also got armor and we got a bunch of stuff. But we've been over what her inventory is last time. And by last time, I mean actually on our previous thing here. So that is or should be archived. So no need to go over that again. So, as I said, we will take it slow and see where this takes us. Let's see. It has been a while, so I do need to get prepared once more. Let us go back to the overview screen. We know that we're approaching from that section, which is here. That map isn't fully complete, of course, because we didn't know whether we'd actually even be here or not. As you can see, we're heading in from where the residential section hits the city. So, what we are going to do is quickly find our token library. No, never mind. Here's what we'll do. We will just grab Juliana Aldis's token. And then we'll head over to the overview screen. We'll place that. We'll slap a halo on it. Change the size to fine. There we are. So this is just, obviously that's not the actual size. The neat thing, I suppose, to say is we could, like, it's not really relevant, but one of the neat things about map tools, change to, I mean, this isn't really the time to be showing off neat features, but we could actually, like, make it to scale if we really want it. But unfortunately, we're not going to, because we would have to unsnap from grid, and that just makes it difficult. And we wouldn't even be able to measure distance. And anyway, I mean, if we really wanted to do that, we could have made a one-to-one map, which is what the other map is. Anyway, this is just an overview map, so every square is 50 feet. I mean, we could actually make that. We're going to do that just for ease of calculation. Okay, now when we move it, it will be 50 feet per tick. Much better. So, I suppose we should have one more for the actual mercenaries or something. For them, we'll just grab a generic token, assuming I can find where I put those. Well, that's not ideal. I could have sworn I put them down. Hmm. Yep. It appears we'll just have to use a different generic token. Okay, so we'll just grab one from here to represent the mercenaries in case we split up. Because the mercenaries are technically separate, but, you know, we're working together. But we are in different vehicles, so we'll get them their own separate token. Hmm. We'll just grab that token. We'll make their halo green. There we go. Just in case the two parties split up. Okay. So they will be heading out of the residential area and into the city proper. Let's see. So we do, or should, have a rough idea of where the thing crashed. The question is, do we want to head straight there? I assume so. Let's check, actually. It's likely. So our question for the bot is, do the mercenaries want to head directly there immediately? We're going to have a +8 because of the modifier of it's extremely, extremely, extremely likely. So there's only a small chance we'll get a no on this one. And let's roll those dice. That is 2d10s. So let's see. 10? Oh, we have to roll chaos. So chaos is no with a 10. Because it's technically 3d10s. And then let's see. 4 and 10. 14 plus 8 is definitely a yes. So, yes, the mercenaries believe it is the best idea to head directly to the zone. So, we will be heading towards there, which is over here. Assumingly there's multiple ways to get there, but, you know, we'll map as needed. It's not like we need to map the entire way there, you know, yet. We might have to. We don't know what the bot will say. I suppose we have one more question for the bot then. Do we have any trouble getting there? We are relatively early to act here, but there is a chance. So we'll have a 4 modifier, and we will roll for chaos. No chaos, and a 4 modifier of adding to yes. 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 is a yes. We would run into trouble. But we will, as fun as it would be to run into trouble, it would not be ideal for us to run into trouble yet. I don't even know what the trouble is yet, but now is the only time I'd be allowed to, as per the rules. I believe our total's 11. So, assuming I did all of my math right, we are going to open our character sheet. And don't worry, things will go south eventually. They always do. Things never go smoothly. Just because we're going to avoid this one doesn't mean things won't go south. But that will cost us. Unfortunately, I don't know where the small one is, so for sake of speed, you see there? Let me highlight that. As you can hopefully see there, we have one favor. Dropping that to 0 will actually drop the number. We want to decrease the number by 1, hence our favor will drop to 0. However, our roll will drop by 1 point, making it 10, which is no but. So, no, there's no trouble, but, and that's what we have to figure out. So, let's see. No, we don't run into trouble heading to the location. But the location, the people around, specifically the local police force, are on high alert and are preparing to try to head in there, but it is heavily contested gang territory, basically out of the control of the local government. So there are forces that we see gathering to try and push in there to achieve some sort of retrieval of their own. They're not acting yet, and they're not stopping us, but they are preparing to head in there, which makes it a bit more concerning for us because it means we will need to rush. Okay. And also, in addition to that, to add to the but, the local gangs are active in the area and are basically preparing. They obviously know that the local government is doing something and are preparing to repel it. So there's a lot of gang activity going around in the area too. So basically, our no but is both factions in regards to the area, the current factions there, the local police force and the local gangs, are severely active in this situation. Okay. So I will assume that it's unlikely that we can get very close. So let's make some more map real fast. Because as I said, it is unlikely we can get super close to the location. So we'll just place down a few of those and continue expanding the city just a little bit. And we'll... Oh, that's not ideal. Oh, we messed up. Okay. I forgot that there's already a line there. So what we do is that, and that should fix it. Let's just grab this building, place that there. Good, it fits, so we did fix it. So what we're doing here, obviously, hopefully obviously, is expanding the city a little bit. I kind of want one of these. There we are. Okay. That should be that way. So we'll grab our tokens, drag them back to here. So approaching the area proper, I suppose our question is, how active are the gangs currently as we approach the direct zone? How active are the gangs? And this is not really a yes-no. We're going to roll a d8 for a level, basically. Here we are. A d8 basically is used, I mean, we can use any die technically, but we're using a d8 because it's auto 7. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, lower is lower and higher is higher. 7 on our chart translates to... Have to open the document. Here we are. Luckily it loads fast because we're doing the quick version. Unluckily we don't have our index, so hopefully it'll be faster than normal, but you know, here we are. An 8, sorry, a 7 on a d8 for this kind of thing is calculated as any of the following. Most, so activity would be not all, 8 would be all, 7 would be most, or very hard. If the question is it very good, or what's the difficulty, it could be very hard or very good, so that would be 7. So most, very good, or worst / sadness. So basically point is a lot. It is on the high end of activity, almost the maximum. And we shall interpret that. And we will interpret that as, due to the situation, gangs are there, and some of the local gangs have started fighting each other. Not for no reason. They've basically kind of taken the, this is a guess, of course, the bot will theoretically say otherwise, but here's my current interpretation of the situation. Of course, our interpretations could be wrong if the bot provides us more information, but so, which is, we are indeed kind of blind on the whole situation in general. That's the way this works, because the bot GMs. We interpret the bot GMs, and our interpretations could be wrong, depending on what new information arises. Anyway, so my base interpretation is the local gangs are basically using this as an excuse to engage each other, and are sort of fighting over the wreck and probably the intel and the people. That's my guess. If they have the people, they're likely fighting over them. They're likely fighting over the wreck. I mean, it's not like they're blind to what's going on. They might not have all the details about, you know, that this is a super valuable ship from one of the foreign nations assisting this nation in the conflict. But they do know, more than likely, that there's a war on, and that this ship was shot down, which was rather obvious as it exploded in the sky. So they know that something's up. And maybe They might have more details. We don't know. I mean, they do have, you know, they likely have their own information networks and all that. So who knows what exactly they know? But they probably know something's up and they're fighting over whatever's happening here, even if it is just to take whatever goods from the starship there is and to, at basically best, if they know that there was a person there, probably try and ransom the person. Anyway, so there is fighting there. And as we are, let's see, direct 1,900 feet. So yeah, we definitely hear the battle going on at this point. Which brings it over to our turn once more, I suppose, now that we know the situation, kind of. As I said, we will take this slow. Let's see. I do want to check one thing real fast, so let's open our item catalog. I want to find our generic template cars, not generic template revolvers. Let's see. Here we are. Vehicles and law. Perfect. Generic car. So should it need, the car can move up to basically 1,000 feet, should it require. But it would have to be going, very fast for that. I assume we're still going to follow the traffic laws? That's a good question. Should we follow the traffic laws? An idea arose. So, Juliana Aldous will calms her merc allies and say, let's see, she'll calms her merc allies and say, you take low, I'll take high. And she will split from the little convoy of, the one car and her hover bike, because it is a hover bike. So, I mean, obviously there's not going to be a lot of places to park, given that they are heavily towers, but we can hover above the situation somewhat. So Juliana Aldous will raise into the air and split off. Sort of approaching from above, and we'll note that with a up. Nope, we'll just put flying. Yeah, we'll just put flying. Oh well. So her vehicle's in the air. Let's do a little bit of math. Let's say we're moving at standard street speed, not you and all this, but the mercenaries. If they're moving 30 miles per hour, we're looking at a total of 264 feet, which will round down. We'll say they're going a little bit slower, of course, because we're on 50 increment grids. Of course, they could go faster, but we'll say they're going a bit slower. So that'll give us 250 as they begin moving over. Juliana Aldous will, of course, go a bit faster because hoverbike, it does go faster as they begin approaching the situation. Juliana Aldous will spend this round raising into the air. As they continue their approach. There we go. That is, no, that's right. Good, 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 good. I think I did the math of speed right. Okay, here we are. So she's raised significantly into the air. I suppose that brings it back around to, let's see. Hmm. She will approach to there. Now it is time for an actual check. Let's see. There is, because there's obviously a hover bike zooming over the area. Will the local gangsters take notice, or are they too busy? It's not a question for the bot, it is a check. So let's see. This is specifically a notice check from the gang. 6 plus their modifiers. Let's quickly pop open the NPC rulebook. Here we are. Let's find the base character for gangsters and the like. Here we are. So we're looking at a total of 6 plus just a flat stat, no skill, apparently. Assuming I read that right. Let's double check. It's possible they have noticed, so because they're allowed to have multiple. So the way it's set up is the. I suppose I should. I mean, it's not really related, but so a standard character sheet for an NPC using the NPC class for a standard civilian specifically allows them to have skills that are not necessarily related and that's chosen per thing. So here's what we'll do. First, we'll add the thing that we know there, which is a +2 for wisdom. So 6 plus 2. The question we're going to ask the bot, it's not going to roll chaos for this one, but our question for the bot is, do they have notice as one of their skills? Because they have 3 available free skills. There's at least one of them, technically. So we'll add a +4 because it's likely one of them has something in notice. So 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes, one of them has notice. So that's going to be 12. 6 plus 4 plus 2. And a 12 is technically enough to see the bike. We need to make a counter roll, actually. Juliana Aldis will make a blend check, specifically because it's not like they can't necessarily. Well, actually, they're taking another penalty, to be fair, because of the fighting. Fighting does provide a distracted bonus. So let's make a blend check of 2. And let's check Juliana Aldis's stats. 2 plus what? Oh. Huh? Oh. Have to actually make it visible. Okay. Let's see. 2 plus 0. And what is the skill based on? In this case, it is classified as charisma. -1. So 1. Not a natural one, but a 1. Actually, there's one thing I need to check other than that. What is the failure rate? Some some skills have a higher than standard failure rate. No, it does fail on a natural 1, not a 1 to 2 or anything. So we are technically not critically failed, but even distracted, they definitely see and take note of the bike going a bit fast, slowing down, hovering up above, and they take notice. Now, the question is, how do they react? Of course, as you can see here, things are a bit slower than they normally would be because, of course, how do I put it? The bot is GMing. So normally, obviously, if I was GMing for my players, I would figure out on my own if they shooted the thing or not, now that it's noticed. But as, well, I'm not GMing, it's completely up to the bot, so of course we need to go through the bot process of figuring it all out. Let's see. So we quickly go over to the NPC action chart. We'll use the quick chart, not the complex chart. We only use the complex chart for, like, social encounters. If your character's actually having a heavy social encounter with another character in which you're talking of things, we'll use the motive generator and all that. But since this is a simple how are they reacting to a thing, we'll use the simple NPC action chart. Assuming we can find it. This is why I should have added the index. Here we are. Okay. First step, roll for chaos. Oh, I suppose maybe we didn't go over it, so let's might as well explain. Because I think I explained last time, but we'll explain one more time just in case. So, if you're wondering why I keep saying roll for chaos, so questions sometimes, depending on the factors, if we're rolling it a lot or a little, what happens is we roll a dice in addition to the d10s that answer a yes or no or questions or so forth. If it is equal to or less than the number here, 4 in this case, it will cause chaos. Chaos can be an exceptional yes, an exceptional no. Those mean the event that we're rolling on is taken to the extreme response of what yes would be, or the extreme response of what no would be, or extreme in some situation. It's the exceptional variant of what's going on. So basically, if we ask, is the door locked? And we get an exceptional no. Not only is the door not locked, the door is not even on its hinges. It's literally just propped up there and you can push it over. Basically, that'd be an exceptional. Obviously, a standard no would be, no, the door's not locked. Exceptional would be like, no, the door's literally on its hinges, or the door's not locked at all, or, it's an exceptional variant. Or, yes, no, the door's locked and the keys are literally in it. Like, it's exceptional. And the other thing we can get for a chaos is like random event in which we roll on the chart and determine what crazy thing occurs that could throw a wrench into things. But yes, so our chaos is to roll less than that. So let's see. Let's find our dice roller. That's another thing I keep saying I should do but forgetting, which is organizing the tabs here that allow me to go through these. 3. Yes, chaos. Well, okay, there's one technically other step before chaos is enacted. I mean, it depends on the campaign type. Technically, there are certain modes in which anything below chaos is chaos, but we're not on that. So, we roll the dice to see what the numbers are and see whether chaos actually occurs. So, yes, there's a potential for chaos with the 3. Now, how does the character react? 2 and 10. 10 and 2. Those are both even, so we actually do have chaos. But first, let's figure out what the number is, because it'll be annoying to scroll back to here. Okay, disposition modifiers. Aggressive. They are going to act aggressively. Okay. We'll be right back to the chaos. I should never forget that. Both even. So, we'll roll one more. This isn't for that. This is for the next step. 3 on the chart. They are going to take an action in keeping with the current theme. So they will shoot at the thing. They will shoot at the hoverbike, or at least try. Now let's scroll. Well, at least they've taken severe hostile notice of it, at the very least. I'm not sure. The reason I say that is I'm not sure they can hit it at the distance. I mean, they'd have a severe penalty. They can fire at it, but they'd have a severe penalty. So we'll figure that out in a second. But first, let's figure out what chaos has occurred. Both are even. Random event. Okay. So we'll go over to all random events. As both numbers are even and it was within chaos. This one I will roll with my physical dice because I need to go through several charts to get this one. And it doesn't, relate to, I mean, it relates to the game, of course, but it doesn't relate to anything that's like, character action or enemy action. It's what random event occurs, and I need to obviously go through several books, and switching between all the tabs is, okay. That is 14. Favors player character. And we have no chaos mod because it's 4, not 3, and not 6. So favors player character. Now we generate it. Let's see. Here we are. This one's a D100. 27. Roll on the main adventure theme focus table instead. This is a action adventure. So we roll on the action chart instead of the custom chart for a total of 15. Nope, that one's not 15. That one's a D100, so it's not adding 2d10s. 00 being 10 on a D10, but 00 also being 0 on a D10. So, as it's a D100, that is 5. Action. So, let us quickly check Increase action into high gear. So everything is to be interpreted with absolute action in mind. Next, we check, just so we'll make sure. What? Sorry, looking for a thing in my file that I apparently lost? Not really lost. Don't know where I put it. This is something I usually do to let you all know a bit of how it works. So, favor PC. See favor NPC result for explanation. Okay, here we are. The answer to the question pertains to a randomly determined NPC, in this case, as its favor PC, random player character, in a favorable way. Something that directly aids the character to result. It can be something that directly aids the character. In some loose way. Or it could be more just in some way related to, for instance, it could look like something they've seen before, or etc. Okay, so now for the fun part. We are going to generate, this will take a minute. We are going to generate a series of images. I say generate once more, it's rolling on a chart. Here we are. I forgot to reopen it. Here we are. It's not that hard to find. I say as I can't find it. Here we are. Or not, come on. There we are. Okay. As before, I think I said here, there is a chart of like 4,122 images. And I have made it, well, I didn't make the chart, of course. The chart goes to the makers of the chart, but I added a list of numbers to the chart that allow me to grab some dice. Make sure I grab the right dice here. I'm going to need a D8, a D10, and a D6. Basically, they allow me to roll and use the grid to determine which image we're going to generate. You'll see it all in a second. Unfortunately, I have to obviously get them separated from the thing before I put them there, but I'll bring them up on screen, and then you can see what there is and how I'm determining what interpretation there is. Okay. So first things first, I suppose I should remember how to roll on this. It has been a while since we've done this. Generating images from the chart. First, we start with the cross roll, which is a D6 and a D10. And what do we do? Add them together. Yes, very good. We've literally rolled one. Okay. And our second is a D10 and a D8. Let's see here. In this, okay, there we are. Okay, sorry. Like I said, this bit takes a moment, but it is. This is, as far as I have seen, one of when we use the bot, because sometimes, usually all GM, but sometimes we'll use the bot in a campaign with my players, and they love the image chart because interpreting the images is always good fun. Let's see. We of course need 2 images, so we're going to repeat the process once more. Hopefully, as I'm not going to describe it, I'll just go a little bit faster on this. So, here we go. As we get the second image here. Okay, that's first. And second is... Oh, wrong die. But yes, these are the things that can be combined with the words to give us lots and lots of options and results. It's what gets us up there near the literal, like, millions of options. Something like that. I forget the exact numbers. I always forget the exact numbers. Yeah, well. Okay. It is almost prepared. Let us open up our chart to make it visible. There we go. Scroll down to there. Here we are. Oh, got to bring it up here too. Here it is. Nope, I want the large one. That way you can see it with better visibility. There we are. Those are the images we have acquired. We have spinny propeller and well, that's the entire point. The entire point of what we're doing here is to figure out what any of these means as interpreted to figure out what the situation is, random event wise. So we know that there's a random event. We know that action is going to kick into high gear. And what we have here, the first thing that pops into mind with the first image is the propeller of a boat. That's just the first thing that pops into my mind with the first image is a boat propeller. But that doesn't make sense, of course, now does it? We could probably stretch that somehow, but boat propeller, propeller, helicopter, helicopter. So the first one is, I don't know, it just says helicopter to me. And the second one, we have a sort of circle, sort of a perspective shot, a gun sight, a gun sight. I got it. I got it. Okay. So we'll make a note so we actually know what we interpreted this as. So that gave me an idea of helicopter, and that one made me think gun sight. So let's see. The local police force is acting. I mean, they're like we said before, they were already gathering and preparing. They are sending in teams on buildings, outer buildings, and in helicopters. The police force is sending in marksmen, basically, to deal with the gunfight that's going on below. So there we go. And that's the power of, well, how this system works. We interpret it. Now, to be fair, it should favor the PC in some way, as per what we generated, but it should also kick the action into high gear. Not sure how this favors our character. It probably just makes the situation more chaotic. But, I mean, it kind of favors us, because it'll draw their attention immediately away from us. We'll interpret it that way. So, a helicopter has just zoomed in, ready to drop off some people on some of the building roofs and to take shots at the situation. And we should indicate that, of course. So let me quickly grab a token. Do we have... That will do. There we go. We'll give this a yellow halo. Okay, and they're likely coming in from this direction. And we'll give them a few. It says kick action into high gear. They'll likely send in ground forces soon, more than likely. And let us make some tokens to represent the groups of gangs down there. Assuming we can find some tokens. Let's see. That will do. And we need one more because we know that there's at least 2 factions of gangsters. For the other group, we'll use this one. Okay. We'll make one red. We'll make one maroon. Yeah, it's visible at a distance. Good enough. We'll actually place these over here. We'll even take this and place one of these over there. The reason is we might copy more of those should we require them. And as we've made that red, let's change the helicopter to orange. Not the helicopter, the target. There we are. Okay. These currently are representing squads of, 10 to 12, 10 to 15 people. And they will have control of this main area. And they'll probably have reinforcements back here somewhere. Unfortunately, given that I'm assuming their territories like over here, and they have some control over here. Well, these people have sort of control over this area, and these ones, they each kind of like have, well, these ones technically have like here or something, and they have like here or something. Fighting over control of the local businesses and entrance to the subway and the like, and the underground city parts. Okay. One moment, let me make sure everything is still working. Very good. Everything does appear to be at least mostly working. Sorry, just double checking everything. There we go. Okay. So we now know that, well, a bit of what's going on here. I suppose we should, well, there we are. Now you can actually see the screen. My apologies about that. So what we've done, what I was saying, I suppose you couldn't see me motioning. This is going to be sort of the territory of this gang, sort of this area, and this area would be sort of the territory of this gang. Okay, and we have helicopters coming in there and there from the police to deal with the situation. Their response, I assume, this is a guess, because like I said, bot run, they are going to move in to try and secure the target. Basically, this is their rapid response to try and get the important individual out. We will have to be fast before they send in actual military assets. But, let's see. So, this is probably the group that sees us zooming in. Let's get a rough distance there. 400 feet plus elevation. That's within their at range. I mean, it's within what they can fire in. It's not within, like, they'll be taking penalties. But as we know that they're favored by, what's far more concerning to them is a police chopper. So that will be our favors to PC. They're not going to act against us this match, and they're not going, well, this round, and they're not going to fire there. Because that's far too far for them. I mean, like, the weapons reach that far? I mean, I'm not saying, that's not a question, they do. I'm saying, put strange inflection on that one. The weapons do reach that far, I believe, but it's not a shot they want to try, Let's see. In fact, they are going to take action. They are going to basically move there. That is right, right? I believe so. I'm trying to remember whether in basically chase scale, a person running moves 1 or 2, but I believe it gets rounded down because a run action at standard movement gets you 120 feet. And every square is 150, so yeah, that will round that down. So they get to there, as they're going to try and get to cover here and get to their target. These ones are going to be a bit more tactical. This is sort of a not really a down cargo lift kind of thing. This is a vehicle lift. This is a cargo sort of lift thing. Not really an outer structure. Sort of a structure, but they're not going to risk getting caught in the open. They are going to move through their own building. They're going to move through their own building to try and get to here so they can try and cut anybody off. Let's see here. One moment. Okay. So, they've moved to there, they're crossing there to try and get to there. They will try and act in time. The question, I suppose, is ideally, do we send this unit in? Yeah, I mean, of course we send them in. They'll move to there, they'll start trying to move to there. And this unit will begin crossing. They'll cross directly and try and swoop in, as everybody wants the zone. Which brings it around to oh yes, the police moves. Let's see. I want to quickly check something real fast. I forget the speed listed for these helicopters. Okay. Far. The answer is far. I should probably get the exact number though. Okay. This one will zip over to here, as it will prepare to drop forces on the roof. It is preparing, so we'll put a little note on it. I know it says climbing, but we'll imply that it's dropping people off, as it needs to take a turn to slow down and land and so forth. And our second helicopter will also take its move. Let me double check its movement again. I have it calculated right here, luckily. 1,250 is their maximum, I believe, if I did my math right. This one will move to here and begin trying to drop a team 2. So both helicopters zip in and begin preparing to drop units to obviously cover and try and retrieve the target from the vehicle. Assuming the target's there. So, let's see. Suppose that brings it to our turns. Which I do need to check one more thing. Which is... What is our hover bike speed? Hover bike, here we are. Not a problem at all is what its speed is. Let me double check, make sure I'm using the right stat block, because admittedly there are multiple hover bike types and manufacturers and all that. I looked at my generic chart, but I'm not sure. Actually, I looked at a UEC hover bike, United Energy Conglomerate or something. So I suppose we should actually see what ours does, because I have that right here. What does our hover bike do? Yeah, we have a UEC hover bike. Okay. Yeah. So 3,520. Not bad, not bad. That should mean, assuming acceleration and the like. Well, there's one other problem, I suppose. Well, first off, let's see. Let me check one other thing. Vehicle movement for car. If we are moving, it can move up to highway speed. Meaning that it can move up to its maximum speed, basically. Okay. Our allies will speed up, of course. Let me make sure I'm getting that right one more time. Here we are. So the car can move up to its maximum at this point, basically. Okay, so like 1,000 and some hundred. Okay. The car will accelerate and basically peel out over to here in an attempt to cross over and get to the target. I suppose we could go back down here, but they'd risk engaging again. They'll risk it, because we're about to swoop in. This is a terrible idea. Okay, so our allies will move to there, and the plan is going to be we'll fly over the building and begin lowering here, just directly on the target. Okay. So, first things first, our allies in their car are going to take their action to fire at the team of gangsters moving across. So that is going to be, how many? 2 shots, 2 attacks, one from each passenger, basically. Technically, yeah, 2 attacks, 1 from each passenger. So let's see. They are going to do 20 round bursts each to hit. Let's see if we can't find our roller. Here we are. So, first roll, 20 round burst to hit, which does provide a bonus to damage, but more importantly to hit. Let's see. 17. That is definitely a hit, as that's just naturally above their AC. But there is a speed penalty of -2. I believe. Let me make sure I did that right one more time. Nope, it will be a -4. They are going a bit above the category that's -2. So, -4, but plus a number. It's still going to be a hit. Like, we could math it out, but genuinely, there's no way it doesn't hit. Because they have at least 6 or 7 bonus from their class. Well, level plus dexterity. 17 plus 6 or 7 plus a plus 2 or, sorry, 5? Yeah, plus 5 or 6, depending on whether they have a specific feat for burst to hit of a 20 round burst, which means there's literally no way they don't hit. Well, that one at least. So one 20 round burst is going to hit. The second is we're actually going to have to math. Here we are. So we know that it's at a -4, so let's count that as a flat 0 before we add all the modifiers. It'll just make it easier to calculate. Okay, so their total's going to be 7 plus oh, don't have the file open. Here we are. Galactic Requiem rules. Base rules. Section file. Oh, wrong one. I opened the GM rulebook. Wrong section. We're looking for the player rulebook. Here we are. Oh yes, the only file that actually has an index. Isn't that amazing? We are looking for combat charts. There we are. Okay, so it says here that is going to be 7 plus a 20 round burst to hit with the feat, which is going to be a 6, I believe. Here we are. Yes, it is 6. So 13 against their AC. 13 against 13. So no luck. Barely no luck. Wait. I forget. Let's double check. Here we are. So yes, that is actually a hit somehow. That's the power of bursts. Let's see. So that is going to be 2d10 plus. Luckily, I still have it open right here. 2d10 plus 3 for the additional damage from bursting. It is a burst to hit, but it still does provide a bonus to damage. So that's going to be d10s, 2 of them, plus 3 equals. One of them will do 16 damage, and one will do 15 damage. Okay, that is more than enough to do things. Here we are. Both of those are, first of all, more than the constitution score of the targets. As such, the targets have a choice. Do they? Yes, they have 2 action dice. So let's quickly go over to our damage chart. It'll take 1 moment. Here we are. How many points of action dice does it use to negate a roll of that? Okay. Oh, they do still first get to roll. They get to roll to see whether they fail, and then it comes into effect. Okay. So we're going to see whether they succeed or fail the massive damage saves, because they've both taken massive damage. 3. One of them fails. They're going to spend both their action die to not immediately be eviscerated. The other one, have to do some math on. Here we are. Massive damage. I have to check whether that one succeeds. Let's see. Okay. So it says here that as the damage of the second shot is 15, We add 15 to that because of the base, meaning 30. And that's why you wear combat armor. He does not succeed, so he'll throw down his action die. And now they are out of action dice, 2 of them at least. However, we're not done. As I think I said earlier, Galactic Requiem is a very lethal system. Getting hit by a burst of 20 rounds does things. Let's see. Here we are, finding the chart of, well, the chart of evisceration. Here we are. So, as both of them have taken over their con. Oh. Let me check one thing. I should check the official chart. We will give that in their benefit. We'll give that in their benefit. Because it said, yeah, it says here round down. Oh no, it says they're round down. We'll give it in their benefit. So if you get your con and over, you take an additional, you basically take a wound for every half of your con. Both of them are going to take, because one of the damage was 16, they have 11 con. That's like almost 3 wounds. It could be 3 wounds. I'd have to spend far more time reading, so we'll just say 2 wounds. So let's roll 2 wounds per person, as they don't have action die to negate them. They wouldn't have taken wounds if they were wearing armor of any variety. Let's see here. Well, they would have taken 1 wound apiece, more than likely. They likely also, well, one of them would have gotten hit, one of them wouldn't have gotten hit. But, you know. Anyway, we are going to use physical dice because it's a lot of scrolling involved in this. Okay. Left arm, right leg. Left arm and right leg. The first one's hit in those locations. We are not done, though, because that's only the start of the fun. The other is hit in the bones and the organs. Okay, that's step 1. Step 2. We'll start with the arm and leg. That is a shoulder and an upper leg. So they're going to be taking penalties on everything in regards to those. Now let's see. There's one more step, of course. which is, that is going to be, the shoulder is cut/ripped severe wound. And the leg is, let's see here, nerve damage, paralyzed, permanent from the point of damage down. So one of them falls over. Well, they have to make a check, which is a character action, so let's roll that on our chart. They do not succeed their balance save, especially with the -4 from the wound. They fall over. Or one of them, at least. Now let's check the other person. The other person was hit in the bones and organs. They're going to have a time. They are hit in the left rib cage and the small intestines. He's been gut shot. Oh no. He's not going to tell anybody. He's going to cover it with his coat. Let's see here. I don't think he's going to survive that long. Because we still need to roll the severity of this damage. Let's see here. Let us find the rib cage section. Rib cage, here we are. 6 ribs broken. Refer to table A. Major artery severed, torn, critical wound. That's not ideal. That's not ideal at all. That was what variety? Critical. Okay, that's very not good. The reason critical wounds aren't good is it means they are going to bleed to death like real shortly. Time to get to those organ hits. Let's see. Where's our section for organs? Here we are. How badly are they hit? Destroyed. Not the person, the organ. They no longer have small intestines, or at least they don't work anymore. Let's see. So yeah, they're not in the best shape. 2 of them are basically taken out. Like they're not assisting in this whole battle. They're not dead yet, but they're not really assisting in the battle. Like they are both, let's see, severe wound rules. So the way it works is enough critical wounds and you just immediately die. Any one critical wound will start you bleeding out. But a severe wound, let's see here. Yeah, critical wound, bleed out in 5 minutes if not helped. Nope, sorry, that's if you get healed by a paramedic. They have 2.5 minutes unless they get healed. Let's see. Secondly, severe wound, 5 minutes. Okay. Also, with a severe wound, they're taking a -3, and the critical wound's providing a -4. They're also taking bleed damage every round. One's taking non-lethal bleed, the other's taking lethal bleed. We'll see how it works out for them. So, that's sure some damage. Let's see. And we are just landing there. We're flying, so we don't really have a choice to shoot, or at least not well. Which gives me an idea if we survive all this, which is to slap some cannons or guns on the hover bike. Wouldn't that be something? Anyway, let's see here. So, we have calculated all of that. We've gotten to there, they've gotten to there, and that ends the turn. So, that turn resets the round to the start. Bring it over to the gangsters, yes. Okay. So, they have taken their actions, meaning the first team of gangsters will engage the car. At this point, I mean, I realize this is why I was worried right here. Because there's a lot of them, and like, it's a car. Bullets don't get stopped by cars very well. So, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, they will return fire at the car. That is going to be, let's see. Let us actually do something rather important, which is determine how many of them there are. 10. So the squads will indeed consist of 10. So 8 of them will return fire. Probably. Well, let's see. Is that actually what they want to do? They are taking fire from the car. It would be logical to take fire. The reason I'm considering, I mean, it might seem obvious to immediately open fire, but the question, obviously I want to make sure. I'm not going to not have them shoot them if that's the best thing to do, but is it good idea to take cover? They could get into cover, but they wouldn't be able to attack. Hence the problem. If they wish to engage to any reasonable degree, they are going to have to hold their position in the middle of the road, in the middle of the open. Like, I mean, technically they can, like, take cover, but, like, it wouldn't be considered good cover. They wouldn't be able to move on the map this round if they wish to engage. I mean, they could engage half and maybe move half if we're being generous. Actually, they couldn't. They would have to stand, basically. They'd have to spend half an action moving, meaning they'd complete their move action at the start of next turn if they wanted to move, and they'd only move one square. Unless they just fall back into a building. Let's see. Actually, this one's complex, because it would be, it would not necessarily. Would it do a lot of damage to open fire? Yes. But also consider there is a thing dropping off troops that will have them deployed this turn right here. If they don't move to cover, they are immediately in line from attack here. Technically, they're also in line from attack way over here if they decide to take shots. Also, they're open from here, and they're open from here. So they could attack our allies, but they will be absolutely in the open if they do. So we'll actually give it up to the bot. Because I don't want to, normally, if something is obviously logical for the AI to do, depending on the situation, that's the most likely thing the AI will do. Sometimes there's a bit of variance added in there, and we will roll to see whether the bot does something crazy. But in this case, I don't want to influence it, I don't want to be like, oh, they won't shoot my allies, or they will shoot my allies. It's up to chance, but I'm going to say it's unlikely they'll attack. Just from the fact that, well, they're in the open. They would literally be, well, at a severe tactical disadvantage, spending a turn firing that will leave them for, because the rest of the turn open. So we'll give a -4. Will they attack our allies? First, we'll roll for chaos. Yes, chaos. Now, for if they'll attack our allies. 6 and 8. 14 -4. 10. No but. So no but what? No, but they intend to attack. Here's what they'll do. They will split. No, but they'll split. One unit will move into there. They'll split into groups of 5. One will rush into the building to seek cover. And 3 of them will try and return fire. Well, 2 of them will return fire, while 1 of them will try and get both of their allies up. Makes sense. So, 2 of them will open fire. They'll also take half the actions taking cover. So, let's see. 1 of them will hit with a threatened crit. And let's see whether that is a success. 15. No, no success. Just a hit. The second one will take 2 shots, why not? With a hit. Wait, no, that's a second shot, that's at -5. 16. No luck. So we have 1 hit. That will be standard 2d8 plus 0. Come on, roll. 6. At least I hope I didn't hit that twice. Sometimes I don't see it say roll. Let's see. 6. That penetrates the armor. Well, ish. We actually get to make an armor save. So, actually, no. We don't get to make an armor save. It hits the car, technically speaking. Oh, shit. It's a car. That's not ideal. Okay, so that's going to be 12. 7 damage to the car. And the other shots, the other 2 shots will hit because it is a car, not a person they're shooting. That's what I get for not using a car token. Forgetting that they're in a car. Let's see here. So that is going to be 2 more d8s. Let's see. Nine damage, no crit, and 8 damage. Which is 3 and 4 after damage reduction. So the car's taken 14 damage. It's almost not working anymore. Okay. Okay, so several rounds pelt the car as 2 of them do open fire. One of them will try and do his best to stop the bleeding of one of his allies. So let's make a medic check. 20. He does indeed manage to stop the bleeding of one of his allies somehow. He gets super lucky and stops the bleeding of one of his allies. So we'll note that down. Okay. Things do change. Let's see. There was something I popped. Oh, yeah. We rolled 2 even numbers and a chaos. So a random event does occur. Don't worry, I didn't forget it. Here we are. Let's see. Open up the book. Go to our random event chart. Here we are. This random event will disfavor NPC. We have our mercenary allies, 1. We have the police forces, 2. We have Gang A, 3. And we have Gang 4, Gang 2. What math? Gang B, 4. Bit of trouble there. So let me quickly roll the d4. It is Gang A is having something not favorable to them. Let's see the kind of random event. It is a random event that is good for the player characters. Player character positive, And it is gang A negative. This time, for ease of quickness, we'll just roll some words instead of going through pictures. Very. Something that is happening is very. Very cute. How to interpret. Strange combination. Bad for them, good for us. Something that is described as very cute. A difficult interpretation, to be sure. Let us see. Oh, I got it. So, what will occur is very likely, as we're in a sort of large, what's the word I'm looking for? Somewhat commercial, somewhat residential. I mean, there's a bunch of arcologies around. A display will light up. Let's see here. A display will light up. One of the holographic displays on the far building will light up, basically blinding this squad as they're inside the building, for the most part, moving through the building. If they wanted to look out, basically the majority of what they'd see is just a bright glow, as they happen to be behind, well, a holo projector that's displaying some sort of advertisement, probably, advertising some form of food or something, some sort of advertisement, basically, some sort of cute advertisements playing on the screen, making it hard for them to see out of the building. Okay. Let's see. Which brings it to their turn. As they can't really shoot out right now or deal with anything outside due to the hologram, they will continue their movement. Okay. Saved by Megacorp Advertising. Here we are. Ah, the other gang, yes. So going this way might be quicker. 300 feet, basically. Going this way is one square, nope, two squares longer, because that diagonals sometimes add up. So that's two squares longer. However, if they move this way, they are completely exposed to fire from the helicopter. This, as I'm pretty sure we went over when we did the adding of the map, heads down into the actual underground area that connects to it. If they move this way, they can technically count as being in cover if they move to here, which will give them cover against being absolutely obliterated from being flanked. They will have to move closer to this one, but at least they'll be moving further from this one, and they'll have cover, as opposed to being absolutely in the complete open from both helicopters. I mean, it's not like they could even get to us personally anyway, because they'd get to there, and then they'd be shot at from multiple sides. So they will actually move towards cover. In fact, they'll try and use the ability Speed Push to run a little bit faster. They will not succeed. Okay. So they'll move to there. So next turn they can actually be in cover as opposed to being out of cover for several turns. They aren't mindless drones. After all, they do have self-preservation in mind. Let's see here. Okay. Which brings it to, oh yes, this guy. They'll enter this building. That way, next turn they can move across and just basically move through cover safely. Let's see. Which brings it to the police turn. Let's see whether we can't quickly grab a token. Let's see here. Where are our tokens? Here they are. Which one do we want to go for? Looking through. This will do. There we go. One squad is deployed there. One squad is deployed there. They do get turns, not the squads that are getting out of the helicopters. But the snipers in the helicopters do get turns. As the helicopters are rather steady, they'll try and take some shots. This one will take a shot there. This one will probably take a shot at our character. We're in a hoverbike, of course, which is good for us, but still. Okay. First attack. Here we are. 2. Absolute miss. Second attack with a -5. 9. Miss. Okay, well, let's double check that. 9. That one might not actually be a miss. Well, no, because -5. It's not a miss still, though. Okay, so that is going to be one hit of a roll of 2d10 high caliber rifle for 12 damage to one of them. That is over their con. They'll spend both to it, and they'll take 2 wounds. Okay. And now for the one shooting at our character. They are going to be at a -2 to hit due to range. but they are shooting at a hover bike, which is relatively large but relatively small. I mean, it's not, it's in the midline. So let's see. 9. Let us check. Nine plus. Where's our sheet? Or where's their sheet? Here we are. Nine plus 7 plus 2. Minus 2 for range equals 16. With a roll of a 16, does that hit our hover bike? Where is our sheet? Here we are. Yes, that hits our hover bike. 4. How much damage? Oh, close the wrong thing there. 2d10. 7 damage, which deals a total of 2 damage to our hover bike after damage reduction. Where is our sheet? Here we are. Okay. Oh, have to edit the sheet over here. So that's going to be 2 damage to our hover bike. I don't think you realize that my new main goal is to kill that sniper. Let's see, second shot. This is at a -5 as it's the second shot. I believe their goal is to discourage us from being at the target. Let's see. That is a hit. Even with a -5. And that is 12 damage after damage reduction. Dropping our hover bike to 11 HP as he fires his rifle and hits the hover bike right in some important components, likely one of its near its core. And I was loosely joking before when I said that my goal was now to kill the sniper. My goal is actually now to kill the sniper. Not because he's a threat, but because that hoverbike costs money. Okay. So, unfortunately, we will call it there, as we are about out of time and I need to go and make some coffee. So, I hope you all enjoyed our little foray. Hopefully we can get more done next time, next Solo Sunday, and we'll continue our adventures. However, this situation, I mean, let's go over for a little overview before we end, which is the situation. Oh, yeah, we also have to award experience or something. We find ourselves in a bit of a situation. There are a total of 4 of us. There's 10, 20, 30, 40. Like 50 to 60 enemies. I mean, each group has about like 20 people on its side in the immediate area, and they're all separate groups. But still. So the situation is not looking good for us. These units have the height advantage on us. Every other unit outnumbers us. We do have better gear than them. Honestly, I'm considering having Juliana Aldous getting out. I mean, it's obvious that what she's going to do, which is get out of the hoverbike next turn, because she has heavy combat armor, and honestly, she'd rather get hit than have the bike get hit, because bike's expensive. Armor is expensive, but I mean, that bike, we worked to get that bike quite a bit. We had an entire thing before where it was like, should we get the bike? It's expensive. I don't want it to get damaged. And there was an entire thing about it. And they shot my bike. I'd rather get hit in the armor than the bike. Anyway. So we'll have all that next time on Galactic Requiem. Thank you all for stopping by. And have a good day. Oh yeah, experience. Where's our sheet? Here it is. Okay. Nope, that's the small one. Where's the large sheet? There we are. Scroll on up to here. Open up my book. Go to the experience chapter. Here we are. Oh, that was not ideal. I accidentally hit enter one too many times and skipped right past it. Here we are. So, was this midline or hard? The encounter, I would classify as hard, given we're outnumbered in every possible aspect. It's not very hard and it's not incredibly difficult, but it is a bit above midline. I'm sure if I was awarding experience to my players, they'd say, it's very hard of an encounter. Look, we're outnumbered. It's incredibly difficult. They have helicopters and snipers, and it's super difficult. Look, we're outnumbered like 20 to 1. But I mean, I'd consider this a hard encounter at most. And let's see. So we'll gain a total of 13 XP. Let me find the file once more so we can actually note that down. So that brings us to 13, 2 goes to 3. Brings us to 34 out of 120 XP. Okay, there we go. Thank you all for stopping by, and I hope to see you next time.